Akumo's fever, his ancestral in Gohan. The sun slowly sank behind the mountains, dyeing the sky a deep orange that blended with the purple of the sunset. High atop a secluded plateau, Gohan trained alone, far from any civilization. His strikes sliced through the air with precision, and the sound of Kai blasts echoed throughout the valley. He breathed deeply, focused, but something was different that day. With each blow, a strange weight seemed to accumulate on his body. Sweat dripped down his forehead, not from physical exertion, but from a suffocating sensation growing within him. The wind, previously calm, began to stir strangely, swirling around his body. What's happening to me? My ki feels heavy, dense, like it belongs to someone else, he thought, clenching his fists. It was then that a voice echoed in, his mind deep, grave, and laden with an ancient echo that seemed to span the ages. You finally woke me up. Or was it me who decided to open my eyes? Gohan widened his eyes and looked around, but there was no one there. Who's there? Show yourself! The laughter that followed was cold and slow, as if he savored every second of her appearance. There's no point in looking. I'm inside you, boy. Suddenly, a wave of energy coursed through Gohan's entire body, forcing him to his knees. His hands trembled, and black veins began to spread across his skin, as if a poison were seeping into his veins. I am Akumo, the one whose name has been erased even from the records of the gods. A warrior who reigned before you, your father, or even the current gods of destruction existed. I am the beginning, and I will be the end. Gohan tried to resist, forcing his own energy to combat the influence. I don't need you. Get out of my head. The voice only laughed louder. You have no choice. With every passing second, your strength mingles with mine. Do you know what that means? It means that together, we will be something not even angels would dare face. The ground beneath his feet began to crack. The grass burned in circles, and Gohan's golden aura distorted, turning a reddish black. His hair lengthened slightly, taking on red highlights. His irises turned a cold silver with crimson rims, and the pressure of his kai was so intense that small rocks began to float around. Nearby animals fled in a scurry. The bird song fell silent, as if nature itself recognized the threat it had awakened in the realm of the gods of destruction. Beerus was leaning against his favorite floating rock, yawning as he nibbled on a grilled fish. Beside him, Whis, with his calm demeanor and impeccable posture, absently fiddled with his staff. Suddenly, Whis stopped moving and looked up into space, as if he'd caught something impossible to ignore. His faint smile faded. Beerus pricked up, an ear noticing the change in his attendant's expression. What happened now, Whis? It's not normal to see you with that expression. There's something unusual, Whis replied, his voice calm but with a hint of genuine concern. An energy I don't fully recognize, but it carries something ancient, very ancient. Beerus grumbled impatiently. Old? Like what? Whis was silent for a few seconds, as if trying to better identify the energy signature. It's hard to explain, but it's as if it were from before my own existence. And the most intriguing thing, it's coming straight here. Before Beerus could respond, the sky above the world of the gods of destruction began to distort. A luminous rift opened in space, tearing reality as if it were a fragile fabric. From it, a whirlwind of black and red energy exploded, and a figure emerged at the center. It was Gohan, or at least something that wasn't entirely him anymore. His feet touched the celestial soil with a thud that shook the ground. His aura was so dense that the air seemed to vibrate, and his expression held something cold and merciless. Whis, he said, but his voice was deeper, distorted, carrying Akumo's timbre. You'll be the first. Beerus frowned and slowly stood up. Hey kid, that's no way to talk to. He wasn't finished, in a movement so fast that even Beerus couldn't keep up. Gohan disappeared from view and reappeared inches away from Whis, throwing a punch that would have disintegrated any planet. Whis raised his staff at the last moment, blocking the blow. The energy released by the impact exploded silently, creating a shockwave that threw Beerus away, destroying part of the temple's columns. Whis took a step back, looking at Gohan with a slight smile, but now genuinely curious. Impressive. Your speed is almost the same as mine. Akumo's voice echoed from within Gohan with a tone of pure defiance. Almost? Then let's see what you think of this. The aura around him expanded violently, and for a few moments, the power emanating from Gohan, or rather Akumo, matched Whis'. The entire atmosphere seemed to vibrate, as if the universe were holding its breath before the next blow. Akumo awakened. The path to Xeno. The impact between Gohan's fist and Whis' staff continued to reverberate throughout Beerus' world. The celestial floor was pockmarked with newly formed craters, and Akumo's dense energy rippled like black flames mingled with red lightning. Whis, even while maintaining his usual calm, felt the pressure growing. He didn't say it out loud, but he knew that Gohan, or whatever was possessing his body, was surpassing anything he'd ever seen in a mortal. Beerus landed next to Whis, still with dust on his body after being thrown. This kid? He's not normal, he said, gritting his teeth. He's reminding me of energies I've only heard about in the oldest stories. Whis nodded slightly. That's beyond our jurisdiction, Lord Beerus. I think it's time we took this information to the Grand Priest. But before he could act, Gohan smiled, or rather, Akumo smiled through him, a cold, calculating smile. Ah, the famous angel staff. That must be why you always seem one step ahead. In an unwatchable movement, Gohan reached out and, with a jolt of energy, ripped the staff from Whis. The divine connection connecting the object to the angel vibrated violently, and even Whis, who rarely showed surprise, frowned. Give it back, Whis said firmly. Gohan twirled the staff between his fingers as if studying it. Interesting. With this, I can go wherever I want, including even the little monarch's palace. Beerus took a step forward. If you're talking about Xeno, you're messing with the wrong entity, kid. But Gohan just looked up, Akumo's voice heavy. I'm not talking to you, cat. His aura exploded again, creating a dimensional tear behind him. Before Beerus or Whis could react, he passed through the portal and disappeared, leaving behind only the distortion in space and the echo of his laughter. In the Daishinkan Palace, amidst the absolute silence of the Great Hall, the High Priest paused in his subtle movements, turning his head as if he had sensed something distant yet urgent. His eyes narrowed, and the air around him seemed to shift. "With Beerus," he murmured, and at the same moment a portal opened in front of him. The two emerged, visibly tense, something rare even for them. Whis stepped forward. "Dad, we have a problem! A mortal!" Beerus finished, his arms crossed. "Or something using a mortal. Invaded my world, equaled forces with Whis for a few moments, and now it's coming here." Daishinkan kept. His tone calm, but his gaze indicated that he was processing every detail. Who? Gohan, son of Son Goku. But he's not the same Gohan we know. Something called Akumo has taken over. The High Priest placed his hands behind his back, walking slowly. Akumo. I thought that name had disappeared forever. It was then that a familiar voice interrupted the moment. So that's why you stopped training, Daishinkan, Goku said, appearing a few meters away from them. Goku was dressed in a simple uniform, but his body exuded an intense calm. He was still panting slightly from training, but his eyes exuded absolute confidence. If he's coming to Xeno, Goku clenched his fists. Let me handle it. Whis tilted his head slightly. Goku, don't underestimate Akumo. If he gets to Xeno, we don't know what might happen. Goku just smiled. That same smile that always appeared when he knew he was going to have a worthy fight. Then it's a good thing he's coming. That way, I don't have to look for him. About that, Gohan appeared at the edge of space-time, Whis' staff spinning in his hand. He stared ahead, sensing the colossal presence of Zeno's palace. Little monarch, let's see if your everything really is everything. He took a step forward, space distorting like shattering glass. But when the distortion opened, a figure was already there, blocking the passage. It was Goku. Standing there, arms crossed, staring at him with a serious gaze and not looking away. It's taking a while, Gohan. I was waiting for you. Akumo's aura trembled, and for a brief moment, absolute silence fell before the inevitable confrontation began. The awakening of the God Killer. Gohan versus Goku at Zeno's palace. The immense corridor of Zeno's palace was plunged into an unearthly silence. The golden columns reflected a soft light that seemed to come from nowhere, while the polished floor showed the distorted reflection of approaching figures. Gohan, now completely consumed by Akumo's essence, advanced with firm steps, each one resounding like a war drum. His beast form was even more intimidating under the ancient influence. Denser muscles, bestial eyes without compassion, the black aura mixed with red flames vibrating around his body as if the air itself refused to touch him. At the end of the corridor, in front of the massive gate that led to Grand Zeno's room, stood Goku. He stood motionless, arms relaxed at his sides, but his eyes lacked their usual carefree gleam. There stood Son Goku, serious, calculating his opponent's every move. "Move out of the way, Kakarot," Gohan's voice echoed, laden with Akumo's deep, ragged tone, reverberating as if spoken by more than one entity. Today, the balance of power shifts forever. Goku sighed lightly, closing his eyes for a moment. "Gohan, I don't want to fight you, but if you take one more step, there's no going back." The smile that formed on Gohan's face wasn't that of a son nor a warrior. It was a predator facing prey he thought was cornered. Without warning, he disappeared in a blur, appearing in front of Goku with a swipe of his claw, his sharp nail channeling dark energy. The initial impact was thunderous. Goku blocked with his forearm but was pushed back, sliding several meters. Gohan Akumo's strength was beyond anything he had felt from his own son. Goku responded with a swift dash, instantly activating complete Ultra Instinct. His silver hair lit up, and his body movement became fluid, dodging a barrage of animalistic blows with the precision of an absolute master. For a few minutes, the metallic clang of exchanged blows and Kai blasts echoed through the palace, making the walls tremble. But as the fight continued, Goku noticed something unsettling. Each time he dodged or countered, Gohan seemed faster, more adept. It was as if Akumo was studying and absorbing every Ultra Instinct pattern. At a critical moment, Gohan grabbed him by the collar of his uniform and hurled him against one of the massive columns, which shattered into a cloud of golden dust. Goku slowly got to his feet, feeling the weight of the situation. Ultra Instinct, his most refined weapon, was beginning to lose its edge. "Kakaroto," Akumo said through Gohan, walking calmly through the dust. "Even the supreme power of the angels is fragile before my essence. You already know that." Goku closed his eyes for a second, taking a deep breath. When he opened them again, his gaze was different, determined. "So, I guess I have no choice." Suddenly, Ultra Instinct's silver aura dissolved, replaced by an intense, deep blue energy that seemed to distort the space around him. The ground shook, and small fissures opened beneath his feet. His skin took on a slightly brighter hue, as if illuminated by an inner light, and his hair turned completely white, but now surrounded by a blue halo that seemed to burn like heavenly fire. "That," Gohan muttered, his eyes narrowed, "isn't a form I'm familiar with." "It's not meant to be known," Goku replied, his voice deepening and thick. "This is the God Killer, a power that not even the gods of destruction fully understand." The pressure in the air intensified to unbearable levels. Even Gohan, with all of Akumo's power, felt the weight of Goku's presence. In an instant, the Saiyan, moved, and the impact of his advance shattered the sound barrier multiple times, closing the distance between them in the blink of an eye. "I'll stop you here, Gohan," Goku said, staring closely at his son, his hands steady and ready for the final clash. In the dense silence that followed, only the distant sound of Zeno's throne echoed, as if time itself held its breath to watch. What would come next? The past of Akumo and Zalama. Beerus's world was silent. After Goku and Gohan crossed to Zeno's palace, the god of destruction sat on his floating platform, his gaze fixed on a distant point in space. Whis stood nearby, watching, his master with an attentive expression. It was rare to see Beerus silent for so long. "You seem troubled, Lord Beerus," Whis commented, breaking the silence. Beerus didn't answer right away. His eyes narrowed, and in a low voice, almost as if speaking to himself, he muttered, "Akumo. It's been a long time since I heard that name. I thought it was lost forever." Whis turned his head, curious. "Has it been that long?" Beerus sighed and rested his elbow on his knee, staring into space as if trying to cross the ages. "Long before Goku or Vegeta were even born. Long before I became this universe's god of destruction. There was a battle that nearly erased everything we know. The distant past. The sky of a colossal planet burned with golden flames. Floating mountains were shattered by waves of energy, and the very space around them was distorted like cracked glass. At the center of this chaos, two imposing figures faced two enemies, whose presence alone could collapse star systems. On one side, Beerus, younger but already emanating the energy characteristic of a god of destruction, fought alongside Belmod, the god of destruction of Universe 11. Both were exhausted, but determination burned in their eyes. On the other side, like a pillar of living darkness, stood Akumo, his tall body covered in black organic armor with pulsing red lines, as if blood and energy were mingling. His eyes were two crimson suns, cold and calculating. Beside him hovered a majestic golden entity, its form difficult to comprehend, so grandiose. Zalama, the creator of the superspheres, radiating a divine power that made space tremble. Belmod dodged an attack that cut a continent in half and shouted to Beerus, "If they activate the superspheres here, the entire balance between the universes will collapse. I know that." Beerus replied, dodging a blow from Akumo that created a vacuum in the air. "But it's not exactly easy to stop them." Akumo dashed forward like lightning, blocking Beerus's path with a palm strike that released a blast of pure demonic energy. "My king, you think you can stop the inevitable?" His voice was deep, reverberating in multiple tones. "Zalama and I don't seek destruction. We seek dominion. And once we have the superspheres under control, not even Zeno will be able to stop us." Zalama, with an almost serene tone, added, "The universe doesn't need a childish king. It needs order. We will bring that order, whatever the cost." The words echoed like a sentence. Beerus felt a shiver run down his spine, not from fear, but from instinct. He knew he was facing not just brute force, but two wills as unshakable and ancient. As time itself, the battle continued for what seemed like eternity. Beerus and Belmod coordinated joint attacks, shattering chunks of the planet beneath their feet, while Akumo and Zalama counterattacked with perfect synchronization. Each impact shaped the battlefield, each clash of energy leaving scars in the fabric of reality. In a decisive moment, Belmod managed to strike Zalama directly in the chest with a sphere of destructive energy, forcing him to retreat for a few moments. Beerus took the opportunity to launch his Hakai at Akumo, but to his surprise, the attack was absorbed and converted into red energy, which Akumo returned with double the power. "Your power," Beerus said, almost in disbelief. "It evolves as you fight Akum Soryu. Not only that, it adapts to yours. That's why you won't win." It was only thanks to a last-minute intervention, a call from Zeno that forced a break in the battle, that Akumo and Zalama were contained. but not destroyed. Both disappeared into the rifts of the multiverse, leaving behind only rumors and the fear etched in the hearts of the gods who faced them. Back to the present. Beerus closed his eyes, the memory still vivid. If Akumo really is back, and now using Gohan's body, that means Zalama might not be that far away. Whis maintained a calm demeanor, but his eyes showed that he understood the gravity of the situation. And if Zalama returns, the super spheres could become the ultimate weapon against anyone. Beerus stared into space again. I hope Goku knows what he's getting into, because if he doesn't, it could be the end of not just our universe, but everyone's. The 30 Days battle and King Sadala, the silence of the cosmos, would never be the same again. For 30 uninterrupted days, Son Goku and Gohan taken by Akumo. They waged a struggle so colossal that creation itself trembled. These were no longer simple clashes of martial arts or contests between warriors. They were clashes of ancient wills that threatened to undo everything that existed. The first day had already been devastating. An exchange of blows between Goku at the peak of his good killer and Gohan possessed by the demonic essence of Akumo destroyed hundreds of star systems, erased entire galaxies, and forced even angels to watch with trepidation. The initial impact created rifts between universes, allowing mortals in distant dimensions to feel echoes of that battle. On the 5th day, the universes began to collapse in sync. Each punch reverberated not only on the fighting stage, but in the very foundations of reality. Worlds that had nothing to do with the fight succumbed to the echo of the released energy. Goku, even trying to counter his blows, was forced to fight with all his strength because Akumo knew no limits. With each night, if it could be called night in the cosmic void, Gohan's transformation grew more monstrous. His muscles grew, his eyes became increasingly bestial, and Akumo's aura expanded, as if trying to envelop the entire universe in darkness. With each passing day, Goku noticed his son fading away, suffocated by the presence of his forgotten ancestor. On the 15th day, the walls separating the universes began to break down. It was as if the struggle was so intense that the very fabric of the multiverse could no longer bear it. Vortices of pure energy appeared randomly, sucking in entire worlds. Only the presence of the Daishinkan in the background had kept the chaos in some order, preventing the whole from being destroyed all at once. But nothing could stop the inevitable. On the 30th day, after a simultaneous blow between the two, the energy released was so colossal that no barrier could resist. A gigantic tear opened in the cosmic fabric and swallowed the warriors, hurling them into a dimension none of them had anticipated. The Universe 6. The impact of their arrival caused the heavens to split. Planets trembled as if made of glass about to shatter. The Saiyans of that universe, descendants of a pure bloodline distinct from that of Universe 7, fell to their knees, unable to withstand the pressure. Kaba, Caulifla, Kale, and countless older warriors felt their souls tremble. To them, it was as if two primordial gods had fallen on their territory. In the center of the crater left by the impact, Akumo Gohan. He stood up. His breathing was heavy, but his aura continued to grow, as if absorbing the very pain of the fight to strengthen himself. His red eyes burned like blades, and his laughter echoed darkly, crossing the battlefield. It was at that moment that a different presence revealed itself. An imposing warrior, in gleaming armor and a cape that flapped in the wind, walked toward Akumo. His eyes held no fear, but firmness. His posture exuded natural authority, and his Saiyan aura seemed as ancient as the stars themselves. It was Rey Sadala, ruler of the Saiyan homeworld in Universe 6. He stopped before the monstrosity that Gohan had become, and spoke in a voice that echoed like thunder. "Enough, warrior. Your fury threatens not only this universe, but all of us. I will not allow a descendant of our race to continue on this path of destruction." Akumo, using Gohan's body, tilted his head, laughing in disdain. His voice sounded like multiple entities speaking in unison. "You call yourself king, but I am the origin. Before your lineage existed, I already walked the fields of creation. You dare face me, mortal? King Sadala raised his hand and summoned a sword of condensed energy, its blade seeming to pulse with the strength of thousands of generations of Saiyans. His eyes glowed brightly. If you are truly the beginning, then I will be the one who puts an end. Akumo Gohan stepped forward, his black aura expanding, corroding the ground and cracking the space around him. King Sadala, in turn, planted his feet, and the air around him vibrated as if the elements recognized his leadership. The tension between the two reached unbearable levels. The Saiyans who were still breathing looked up, seeing the inevitable confrontation about to happen. The bloodline of the past and the ancient chaos were facing off, and Universe 6 was becoming the stage for a fight that could redefine the entire fate of the multiverse. The Celestial Prison and the arrival of Amaron after 30 days of uninterrupted combat against Akumo Gohan, Gohan's body son Goku could no longer bear the weight of the battle. He had faced cosmic furies, withstood the collapse of entire universes, and held firm to his resolve. But the instant the dimensional tear flung them apart, the Saiyan was separated from his foe and hurled toward a different realm, far from any universe, heavenly prison. It was a place outside of space and time, a region built by the ancient gods to contain entities that threatened the balance of creation. There was no ground, no sky, only a white void and divine chains made of light and energy that clung to Goku's body, draining his life force and preventing him from even moving. As Goku struggled to resist, a female shadow appeared before him. Her presence was so intense that even the void around her seemed to bend. Her blue hair shone like celestial rivers, her skin exuding purity and menace at the same time. Her eyes conveyed a mixture of compassion and absolute coldness. It was Zekai, the mother of angels. She approached slowly, and her voice echoed softly, yet filled with power. Son Goku, even you ended up here. This only confirms what I already know. The current universes are doomed. The gods of destruction are puppets. The angels are jailers of a childish king. And you're just a lost warrior. Goku gritted his teeth, pulling at the chains that bound him. No matter where I am, I will never fight on your side. Zekai smiled serenely. I don't need your permission. A piece can be moved even unintentionally. She raised her hand and additional chains began to form, seeking to imprison even the Saiyan's essence. But before the ritual could be completed, a wave of pure light shattered the void. A staff shone brightly, severing the chains in a single strike. That's enough, mother, said a firm voice. It was the Daishinkan appearing out of nowhere. His eyes held the weight of responsibility, and his expression was darker than usual. Zekai took only a step back, but still maintained a superior gaze. You can't protect them forever, son. Time is on my side. With a wave of his staff, the Daishinkan completely freed Goku and enveloped him in a protective sphere of energy. You don't belong here, son Goku. Your fight isn't over yet. In the blink of an eye, they both disappeared from the void and reappeared in the Universe 6. When Goku opened his eyes, the sight he saw shocked him. The ground was covered in Saiyan bodies. Drink, Caulifla Ikalale fallen, gravely wounded, as were dozens of warriors who had tried to resist. The air was thick with the smell of blood and destruction, and the darkened sky seemed to mourn the massacre. No, Goku muttered, feeling his breath hitch. They are all... But before he could finish his sentence, an arrogant voice echoed through the ruins. A tall figure walked calmly, each step crunching debris beneath his black boots. His armor was adorned with ancient symbols, marked with runes of destruction. His skin was pale, and his deep purple eyes gleamed with malice. His bearing conveyed absolute superiority. It was Amaron, the venerable heir to the destruction of Universe 14, descended from a lineage as ancient as the gods themselves. He stood before Goku and looked at the bodies of the fallen Saiyans, shaking his head in disdain. So this is the pride of the Saiyans of Universe 6, he said coldly. I expected more. In the end, they're all just failed warriors. Goku clenched his fists so tightly that his fingers trembled. The air around him began to vibrate. His eyes, now pure white, stared at Amaron with an intensity that would make any enemy hesitate. "You," he said, his voice firm and filled with contained rage, "dared to touch the Saiyans. What you did to them, you will pay. I swear, you will pay with your own life." Lightning flashed across the sky. The wind roared. Goku's blue aura began to vibrate violently, foreshadowing that the coming confrontation would not be just a fight, but a reckoning that could shake even the reborn. Universe 14 continues. And so ends another chapter of the Dragon Ball Legends. But this battle is far from over. If you enjoyed it, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and activate the bell so you don't miss the next episodes. This is Mr. Kakarot, and we'll see you in the next story. Bye!